Oh yeah, you people want to talk about wrestling? You want to talk about wrestling? Let's talk about wrestling.
Tim and Joel, call it in the ring. Howdy do.
My God, let's go is right.
Let's go. Get some.
Tim, you've been on the road. You've been living life large. You've been doing everything that's not being on this show. I missed you. I missed you so much.
Been busy. It's been so busy. And then I had an obscene amount of wrestling to catch up on. I didn't catch up on it. I caught up on a lot of it. I skipped through a lot of shows, so if I say some weird stuff, point it out, make fun of me. Because
I just won't be paying attention. Let's face it. You know what? If you want to check Tim live on the air, join us in our Discord. There's a link in the video description if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube, and I don't know why you wouldn't be watching us, maybe you want to do the audio thing, that's fine. But if you're on YouTube and you're live with us or watching it after the fact, toss us a thumbs up, would you? Maybe leave a comment in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, because guess what? You do any and all of those things, we get a little bit closer to that generous YouTube algorithm. You know that algorithm, that magical place what everyone talks about, where it gets you in and talking and everyone gets a little bit closer to each other. Anyway, that's what we do.
Pro tip, if we blow up, I'll watch all the wrestling because I'll have time.
Ooh.
I'll make it my job to watch wrestling. I'll still hate it as much as my regular job, but
breaking news. Braun Strowman's first match back. Going to be at EC3's Free the Narrative.
Sounds awful. No thanks.
That's EC3's Free the Narrative 2, The Monster in Us All. It's going to be Adam Scherr, the former Braun Strowman, taking on EC3 to take back control, fight for your freedom, and find your purpose. Are you excited?
What is EC3? I feel like his brain is broken. Like everything
that's the gimmick.
It's exhausting. Like, is he self-aware or is this just who he is? I can't tell. Good. I mean, that's good, right? That shows that he's damn good at his gimmick, or he's just, again, crazy. I can't tell. Good job. Good job, EC3. I don't like it, but good job.
When EC3 started post WWE stuff, I was really enthralled by some of the stuff he was doing. Like he was very much like the Free Your Narrative and Control Your Destiny and Manifest, blah, blah, blah. And he was bringing that to like the indie world, and it made sense. Since then, I've kind of dropped off because he had some issues, landed himself in the hospital. Oh. So he's okay, but like he had a whole thing. He had posted it on socials, and yeah, long story short, he kind of like fell off the face of the earth, then came back to Ring of Honor and had a couple of matches there. He had a match, speaking of sorry to hear that, against Flip Gordon recently at a Ring of Honor show. Match was fine, but nobody cared. It just wasn't there. But anyway, it's going to be interesting. Adam Scherr, that's courtesy Fightful Select. That's coming out like literally now anyway, the Adam Scherr announcement. He's going to fight EC3 at EC3's next Free the Narrative pay-per-view. Cool. That's his first match back. That's cool. Good. They're friends. You know who aren't friends though? Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Charlotte.
I can't tell.
None of them are friends.
No. Okay, that makes sense.
Do you want to? I don't want to talk about the fight just yet. No, I don't. I thought about it. I was like, let's talk about the shoot, work, fight, gimmick, whatever the hell. Instead, we'll do a little bit of news. You want to talk about Raw frustrations from Vinnie Mac, apparently?
Yeah, I saw on Reddit he threw a hissy fit.
Yeah, well, close to his birthday, anyone gets all flustered when they're turning 76. Wouldn't you be upset having to work real hard at 76, no sleep, just hitting the gym all day?
100% a choice.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a choice. But yeah, apparently ripped up the script, and here we are, a regular Monday for everybody. So as a result, you saw the 3 matches that were, that we talked about not happening on Raw. Spoiler alert, didn't happen on Raw.
None of them happened. I don't understand. Like, why? Baffling. Why advertise things and then, like, I get, okay, stuff can come up that explains some of them, but like Sheamus and Lashley were both there.
Yes.
Why not do that match?
So, okay, I guess we're gonna get into Raw. That's fine. there's something that was posted about Lance Storm discussing how Raw works and making the illusion as to how Raw works, and he talked about it on Observer Radio like months ago. So I want to go back. I'm going to give you a little bit of how Lance Storm sees Raw, and give me your take. He says, quote, "The actual premise of the show in kayfabe is that WWE or the GMs or whoever's in charge, whatever, they just wing it and live book the show on the air based off of politicking or, quote, spur of the moment challenges or attacks. And then we, the audience, watch it unfold."
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's I'd say that's accurate. That is how, like, the problem is I didn't read anything. I like, there were no segments with Adam Pearce or anything. Like,
they came out. They did. They came out the show. Okay. They did. So they came out. They did make some.
This was matches. In the clusterfuck of an intro, right?
Yes, where literally everyone came out. You had Priest, Sheamus, Drew, Lashley, MVP, RK Bro. The women came out. Rhea came out, and they started that match. It was Rhea versus Nia, I think, and that was basically like everyone came out at the beginning of the show, and they just rebooked Raw in the first 20 minutes, which, for better or worse, you know how I feel about having the same the same multi-person promo start your show and do the championship contenders based on who walks out. You know how I feel about that. But at least this time they like reset the show at the top of the show and made it look like, okay, now we have to do this. It didn't seem completely messed up.
Yeah. And like, I mean, Lance Storm's not wrong with that. Like, that is how they frame it. It's just, it's not always shown by like Adam Pearce or Sonya Deville doing that stuff. So I don't bloody know.
And I agree with Kale in the chat saying, it wasn't incredible, but it wasn't terrible. Yeah. Like there was some really good stuff. Yeah. For example, going back actually before we talk about matches, the promos, Riddle loving to try and crack Randy Orton to me is still hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I went to high school. I graduated high school. And I like motorbiking and talking to babes and getting a tan and being fast and being slow.
Being fast.
It's funny. And he's like, I'm good at growing too. I used to be really small and now I'm big. And I wish they had done the pan out and like Randy was just gone, because they'd done that before with Riddle. I was kind of hoping they'd make that a constant thing where whenever Riddle would start a joke, they'd kind of close up, do that extreme close up, and then pull out and everyone's gone. I want like a full room like just Riddle talking to a full room. They close up and they pull out, empty. He's like, whoa, where did everybody go?
And like, I liked the him not understanding what an open challenge is.
Yes. There's some good shit. And then so we got into the match with Drew, Priest, and Sheamus. That triple threat match was really good, and they gave it a lot of time. They gave it well over 20 minutes with commercials. The three guys kind of beat the crap out of each other. And listen, Damian Priest pinning Drew McIntyre means something.
They're really behind him. It's good.
There is investment. I like that. And then the main event, you had RK Bro defeating Lashley and MVP. Just going back to like who was in that opening segment. What do you think? What do you think of RK Bro, Lashley, MVP? Could it have been someone else with Lashley? What do you want? What do you think?
Well, it could have been someone else with Lashley if they hadn't broke up the Hurt Business for no reason all that while ago. But no, I mean, it makes sense. What are they going to do? There's no Hurt Business, so throw MVP in there. But like, thinking kayfabe with it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. Like, MVP himself is not holding himself out to be like a tremendous athlete anymore. So it just all goes back to like, there was no reason to break up the Hurt Business, and they could have continued doing that into this. It's just right now they're trying to move stories along, but this was like a one minute stop. I don't think we're going to see like Randy versus Lashley. So
no shock to anyone when Riddle pinned MVP. That's really how
it was basically like, who's going to pin MVP? Is it going to be Randy? Is it going to be Riddle? Like, that was it. So
we had the same conversation in the Discord during the show. Who pins MVP? Is it Riddle or is it Randy? Now Randy won the titles, pinning AJ at SummerSlam. I wonder if the story is going to continue with Randy when he takes the pin instead of Riddle. Randy then turns on Riddle.
Could be.
You know what I mean? He's going to get pissed off. I've been winning when really it's going to be Riddle has been getting all the pins, and then Randy both wins the titles and loses the titles. I could see that being kind of the play out. I don't know if they will, because quite frankly, they don't let anything play out properly.
No.
But I do like MVP stomping Riddle's foot to break a pin. That's good stuff. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
AJ and Omos were ringside. Listen. When I thought they were going to do a little bit of an unexpected DQ, we got a distraction instead. Sure.
Yeah.
Charlotte and Nia. We're not going to talk about everything from Raw because we got a lot to talk about otherwise. First of all, I got to give it to my friends at Fightful with Rudy Tooty Worky Shooty is now one of my favorite sayings. So match happens. Midway through the match, they got lost. They get up from a spot and then they just kind of stare at each other. And it's very awkward. And you can tell, the audience in the arena can tell, the audience at home can tell something's going on. And then all of a sudden, it felt like they were trying to figure out what to do next, call a spot, call a headlock, figure out where they were going. And instead, they just kind of started hitting each other. And it just kind of got weird.
Did you see Bully Ray's breakdown of what
No.
he thinks happened?
What do you think?
Apparently he thinks it started earlier on in the night as a result of a clothesline that Nia gave that he described as fairly unsafe, which might have pissed off Charlotte, because he said that on the way down, Nia looked like was staring daggers, and he said it was the kind of look that, if she was working it, he got worked then, because she looked really, really pissed off. And then there was another clothesline. I guess that's essentially what he was breaking down, is that they got pissed at each other and they got a little stiff and did some dangerous stuff. He kind of guesses that there was like an argument backstage after the original segment, like the opening segment.
Is he saying that the clothesline spot was from Nia to Charlotte or something else?
I think it was to Rhea, actually.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think it was Nia clotheslining Rhea, and then he conjecture, is that even the right word? I don't know. He's saying that that might have instigated a fight backstage in Gorilla. But
right. So let me start with there's that one spot that's going around, that high angle drop on the back of her neck, which it's fine. It's not as bad. I'll tell you right now. Like that's a Joshi landing. Let me tell you, that is most Japanese women who are wrestlers will land high neck, high shoulders.
I saw a few clips like that. I was like, okay.
Is it good for you? Absolutely not. It is not where you want to land. But is it okay if you're going to land that way? You're going to land that way. It's fine. The idea here, though, continues to be Nia Jax is a beast. Yeah, listen, she is a larger woman physically. She is. But like the idea here is that she's supposed to be a little bit reckless. She's supposed to be kind of crazy when it comes to her moveset. Does that mean she's not supposed to work safe? Absolutely not. She is supposed to work safe. Yeah. But there's a balance that needs to be found there. And I think a lot of people don't understand that your size and your ability have to match your size and your ability, essentially. So on the other hand, Charlotte flubs too. And that's the thing. Like, it was very clear she went in stiff on a few things. Like her headlock was real. Real.
And because you know what, I'm taking on people for putting in these like real limp moves, and she was putting body weight on her. Like, it was heavy. It was,
and like, listen, did they kind of take some liberties with each other? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they were frustrated
strikes, but it got the biggest problem in it is that it just kind of fell apart at one point where they just looked stupid doing it. Like when they were having their little slap fest, punch fest, it just got really sloppy.
It did. So there could have been more to it. They could have done something a little bit better. The fact remains, if the reports are true, the two were fine after the match. It's just in the moment, someone, they got lost, they got heated, they went after each other, and here we are.
Yeah, I think whatever it was got worked out in there.
Yeah, and these two have done shit to each other before too. They've had a match before where Charlotte, flipped and nailed Nia with her knee on the outside, like did the moonsault and just nailed her. Nia's done the shoulder breaker, which is Evan's talking about, and dropped Charlotte on her head. It happens. That shit happens. Yeah, and there you go. Like the snugness was enjoyable with the heat or not. I'm fine with a little bit of messy play. That's fine. They obviously didn't hurt each other, which is good. I don't think they were trying to hurt each other. I think they were both trying to tell each other, "Hey, let's get back. Let's get back into this. Chill out."
Yeah.
Anyway, no more championship contenders matches. That's been kind of tossed out the window lately.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I want to talk about the Smackdown one, but like that was kind of odd. I think I missed something. The women's elimination was like has the right to challenge Becky Lynch, and I was like, what? When did that happen? Did I skip something? Like
it was a number one contenders match. The whole idea was they did the promo where, again, going back to the top of the show where we talked about the multi-person state your claim. They literally ran that same thing.
It was so dumb because like there's no Bianca's the only one. What a pointless match to have. Like Liv hasn't been on TV for 2 months. Carmella hasn't won, and neither has Zelina. Like what is this nonsense?
It served the purpose of having Liv come in, look good. Now, what happens next? You and I did the same song and dance at Money in the Bank. She's not going to win Money in the Bank. It's all about what they do next. And then what did they do next after Money in the Bank? Literally nothing. So that is the bigger problem at hand. But the championship contenders matches, they're not having the champions face the the champions face the number one contenders in a non-title match that they won't call a non-title match, and that the win. They're not doing that anymore. It seems like they finally cooled off on that, thankfully. And I'm okay with that. Do you want to talk about Cross versus Humberto Carrillo?
No.
I'll put it like this: he's taller, he is more tan than Cross. He has more experience than carrying Cross. Not a great pairing physically together. The match was fine. Like they did everything, but they got to find something else for Leather Daddy Cross because that's not working. That gimmick, kids ain't flocking to that. They're not saying, "Mommy, Daddy, I want to be carrying Cross for Halloween." They're not saying, "I got to get that mask." They're just saying, "What the hell is this?
Who is this man?"
It's not working. It's just not. And again, like WWE is for the kids, and that's fine. That's what the market is for them. That's where they're making their money. But it just doesn't work. Cross is safe for his rainbow, says Mike. Oh dear. Eva Marie and Dewdrop, speaking of rainbows. First of all, LOL. I posted the splash. Did you see the splash?
Yeah.
Where Eva was like bent back, head back, like I ain't taking this.
No.
Put me to sleep.
Now
anyway,
I can't wrestle. I like that it wasn't a match. I like that it was just she was demolished and then they couldn't wrestle. I appreciate that. You know, that's something a little bit different. Builds to the pay-per-view. Dewdrop's
making it work. It's a kid's character again, going back to this whole the WWE's for kids. It's fine. She was very excited. She very much wants to have her character be an extension of herself, which is understandable. She just wants, I don't want to say she just wants to have fun. It's not that. It's that her character very much wants to be for the kids and likable. Because again, going back to Nia, like Dewdrop is a very different look than what you see on WWE programming. And for anyone who has a similar body type, maybe needs some positivity, I think that's awesome. I think that's something that needs to be in wrestling. Different body types, different styles, different colors, different creeds, different everything. And that's one thing that wrestling needs more of. And end of sentence. That's what it is. Yeah.
Right on.
We talked about that at the top of the show if you want to go into it. What else? Okay.
Super crazy.
You're being asked about, for those who are YouTube watchers, your background, the green screen.
No, it's just messy back there.
That's right. That was always Tim's shoot background. Now you just get the green because it's a giant mess. Because he just got back from a long vacation of ignoring everybody, including myself. Yeah. All right. You want to talk about NXT? Let's talk about thumbnail talk. You want to talk about the new NXT?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the new NXT debuts in a couple of weeks. We got 2 more weeks of Leather Daddy Dark Metal Mode NXT. Dark and Brooding, your favorite.
The black and gold. They called it the black and gold brand. Like they're still doing that, and they're clearly going to transition away from that. Why? Anyway.
Well, remember the shows have been taped, so whatever.
Yeah.
So actually, It's good that
Do
you
they
say
not know what's coming? They just spring it on people? Like, that's insane.
So let's go to our friends over at Fightful Select talking about the tight-lipped rebranding of NXT. So I'll read it verbatim just for y'all. Word of an NXT rebranding and a new presentation and look are true as per Nick Khan's comments to BT Sports. However, it doesn't appear as if many talent within the company have been told much about the rebranding effort. Several NXT talent knew there was fire where there was smoke. Even the top talent on the brand is being kept in the dark as to what that specifically entails. WWE is remaining very tight-lipped about the details about NXT's future look branding moving forward in that regard. One talent said that they could tell some changes were coming in the CWC venue itself as it's being taken apart. The ring area is mentioned as something that was being adjusted. Okay.
First of all, I have this big feeling that it's just going to be a big nothing burger. Like, we're going to get a different look and the same show. Like, that's what I feel from this. I don't expect it to be anything special. Like,
you're going to get a lighter version. You're going to get a more colorful NXT. You're going to get, some people are going to say main roster light, LITE, and I get that. But I also don't think it's going to be that straight down the middle light feeling. It's not going to be like, you have to prep these people for main roster. How many main roster stars or NXT stars have come up to main roster and been successful? Damian Priest is currently seeing that success. Bianca Belair is seeing that success, but it takes them a while. And it also is one wrestler out of every 10? You can't have a 10% success rate like that. You can't.
It's not enough. Can say that much. Like,
and it's just, you're being tight-lipped because part of it is they're still figuring it out. Remember, they just announced a whole bunch of new PC signees as well after the whole, they're not hiring any more independent talent. No, they are, because they're bringing in the Usos' brother. Yeah, they're bringing in Sifa Fatu. They're bringing in Bull Buchanan's son. Bull Buchanan used to be a wrestler. This kid is also, he has some wrestling. They brought in, I forget the woman's name. They're bringing in a girl who was trained by Greg Gagne. Like, this is a thing. Like, wrestling is not, you can't just go in completely blind. There will be people in that, but there were people who were brought into NXT classes in the past who had zero experience. You know what they do with those people? They put them in a very, very beginner class. You know who's in that beginner's class right now? Mr. Forward Roll himself, Parker Boudreaux.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then you've got guys like when Kevin Owens was brought in and Sami Zayn and Tommaso Ciampa. People like that are put into an advanced class because the idea here is they don't need as much. They need to figure out how to work a WWE style, especially to cameras, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Hit your time cues, all that. Work within the constraints of WWE. Those people are put into those classes because they need that. They don't need to know how to forward roll. They need to know how to hit time cues. So you've got time, is what I'm saying, to develop talent. And it looks like getting rid of this leather daddy metal NXT is the first step to making NXT a more relatable product for some, especially those who are younger trying to get into it. What do you think?
I don't know. I think it does seem like it's just ditching what like Triple H and Co. put together. I don't know. It seems like he pissed off Daddy. I don't know. Because like I can see the Poppy stuff going, right? Less Slipknot.
You know what? I made this joke before. When Triple H, when his eldest daughter was like 13, he went to her and said, "Hey, honey, what's in?"
Yeah.
And at the time, she was listening to Poppy. She was wearing, this type of clothing. Everything was dark. Everything was metal. Everything was brooding. Now, maybe she's 15. Hey, honey, what's cool? It's cool. Everyone loves Wale. Everybody loves this.
What?
I don't know. Well, Wale's doing the theme. So I'm just throwing out Wale.
Wale's like 40, isn't he?
He's big in wrestling and hip hop culture.
My God, there's so much hyper pop stuff anyway, whatever.
But that's the thing. They can still go with that. So the idea she can easily be like, I like Billie Eilish or I like whoever, and the change happens.
I'm beginning to sense that you're not so very hip with it, Joel.
No, we know know this. The bands I play in are mostly like cover acts that pay me. I'm not
Billy
playing
Joel
with,
vibes, mad Billy Joel vibes.
yeah, I'm not playing with pop acts that, that are up and coming and pay me $10. No, I go with the acts that pay me. But anyway, I don't know who's in right now. I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
When I have kids someday, I will ask my kids, hey, who's in? And we'll learn from that. But the point here being, the rebrand is mostly it's a two-way street, because there's no way Triple H is being like shut out of everything. This isn't Nick Khan being like, I'm going to take over. It's not that. And people are naive.
I think it comes back to, again, like what some people in the chat have been saying, like they're not building the type of talent that the main roster is looking for. It goes back to, I think they're resetting it as a developmental territory, right? Like they're not getting what they want out of it, but they're spending a bunch of money on it. And I think they're just trying to move away from the third brand stuff. Like that's the vibe I'm getting from it. I think they're just moving into, this is the development territory. You need to build stars that are going to succeed for this brand. And like, they give them Karrion Kross, and that's clearly not what they want. And they're trying to figure out what to do with it. And they clearly don't know what they're doing. So
is there a level of, I had it in my head, but I've completely lost my train of thought. There's a level of defeat because of what happened with AEW on Wednesdays and NXT on Wednesdays and the whole Wednesday night war that wasn't a war but was a war. There's a level of defeat there and needing to retreat and figure yourself out. Like you said, bring it back to being a developmental system and not a third brand like they were trying to do to legitimize this Wednesday night thing that was going on.
Yeah.
And now that they moved to Tuesdays, now that they can change everything, they can revamp it. Their ratings haven't been through the roof either since they moved back to Tuesdays. This is an opportunity for them to reset and find what's going to work. Because back in the day, even 4 years ago, when NXT was able to tell more stories long-term and really play stuff out properly, that was a big win for them. And they weren't just bringing in indie talent. They were actually, trying to develop who they had. That's a big thing to have.
Yeah. Like I think the only main concern I have is if they are going to change the entire image, there are people there who are going to get left or are going to have to figure out new stuff all over again. It's releases like Bronson Reed are still confusing as hell to me. I don't know why they would do that, but they have stuff being built like Gigi Dolan and whatever that stable is that makes no sense if they are going to move away from like the heavier side of things, especially when they're ripping off Marilyn Manson. But
they're the Rose Hearts.
Yeah, I
or
don't
something.
know.
They don't have
It's
a name.
nothing. It's nothing. And then to have Mandy Rose lose and then, they beat up Sir. It's like, why are you learning from someone who's losing?
So let me tell you why I dislike this take.
I don't
They're
think
going to
that's gonna
start
happen
putting
at all.
greenhorn talent against greenhorn talent on national TV, and it'll be a nightmare. First of all, nobody does that.
There's still tons of veterans in, like, they're not just going to disappear. They're going to put people like Johnny Gargano versus newer talent, and it's going to be fine. Like,
exactly. The process of wrestling has always been, if you have new talent, you put them in with some of the established veteran talent. You want to talk about AEW Dark? Let's talk about AEW Dark. Lanie Luck is not a brand new talent, but she is not a veteran. She went up against Thunder Rosa, who, by the way, is not a veteran, but is much more accomplished and has a lot more experience in that sphere. The two of them went up against each other. They also have experience through Mission Pro. So the point here is, it wasn't greenhorn against greenhorn. It was leader versus follower. Someone led the match. Someone followed through the match. They had a perfectly fine match. That's what's going to happen.
I think
they're
that's
not going to just give you the new guy versus the new guy every time, because that's dumb.
I think where that's coming from is a misinterpretation of their, like, under 30 no shorties
right,
rule, which is like, they're not firing all of the older people. Like, they're still there. So they're going to leverage the massive amount of veteran talent they have there to help bring along new talent. That's what I took it to be. I hope that's correct. It would be messed up otherwise.
I do too, because at the end of the day, you can't just fire Tommaso Ciampa and say,
be insane decision. Like,
Drew Casper, hey newbie who just joined Diamond Mine this week, you are the new NXT champion next week. That's not, you can see, like, again, I implore wrestling fans to use a little bit of common sense, a little bit of common knowledge when it comes to how certain things are put together. You're not going to put the the AAA team. You're not going to put them on the major league bench. You're not just going to ship the Buffalo team to Toronto and say, this is it. Everyone else is fired because you're too old or you're too good, and we have nothing left for you. So AAA team, you're now the Blue Jays. That's not going to happen. That's not how it works. Everybody has
I think it'll be
a level.
I'm curious, like, will it? I don't know. I have a feeling that the quality of the overall show might go down. Like, but that's WWE, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
that's an inevitability. It is. It's not going to be that fast-paced indie style match. They don't want that. They don't, and that's fine with me. They want to have. Yeah,
I prefer it, but yeah, and like that's the thing. I also want more storytelling though, like on the weekly shows. Like I want the great matches to be on the pay-per-view. The weekly stuff, if I must watch it, I really want it to be what's going to happen. Like I want that story because again, it's just going to be a mediocre version of the same match that I'm going to see at the pay-per-views. Like, I don't need to watch so much in-ring wrestling every week, and that's just my preference. I do want to see like the cliffhangers and the what's going to happen next week, and like I want that stuff to keep me watching the weekly shows because I'm going to get great wrestling on the pay-per-view.
So let me tell you what I want to see come back, and that was on this week's NXT. We saw Mandy versus Saray. So Mandy Rose comes out, and they do the basement ropes drop kick that Saray does. And it's so brutal to everyone she's done it to that they built it up as a storyline because Mandy Rose takes it and then Gigi Dolan and JC Jane carry her out of the ringside and they count her out. And Saray wins the match. That's a story that I can get behind because we've seen what happens when people take that drop kick. Little things like that work.
Yeah. And that's not bad. Again, like it's just, I don't know why you learn it from this person, but it's fine. It is confusing to me to pair them up, but whatever. Mandy Rose back in NXT. She's on TV. Fine with that. Evan saying they're going to run O'Reilly versus Duke Hudson. That's essentially what I expect to happen, which is fine. Like it's not the best thing in the world, but it's fine.
Guess what? Works. Those two had a damn good match last night.
Exactly. That's what I think he's saying, right? Like it's they're going to do that, and it's fine.
And again, going back to Mandy and Saray, they're going to end up doing a 6-woman tag. It's going to be Mandy, JC, and Gigi against Saray, and probably Io and Stark, or Casey and Caden. Whoever loses that tag title match.
Whoever is the face in that.
Yeah, that's the other problem that they have. But anyway, that's just going back to like some of the storytelling that I enjoy that we get out of NXT. Kyle O'Reilly, Duke Hudson, what do you think?
Good match. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. And then you can see they're clearly like they're working in all the breakout stars still. Like you had another great match with Roderick Strong and what's his name? Is it Jiro?
Ikemen Jiro.
Yeah. Like great, very great. God, King of the Backbreaker or whatever. What's his name?
Messiah of the Backbreaker.
Messiah of the Backbreaker. I don't know. Good stuff, Roderick.
Yeah, it was, and again, good stuff coming out of that match. It was both matches were really good because guess what? Jiro looked great in defeat by taking a beating. Hudson looked great in defeat, dishing out a beating and being the bigger guy. Like there was a lot of good movement and a lot of good, work coming out of last night's show. And I appreciated that. Again, like Kyle O'Reilly went for a ground and pound offense because he kept getting grounded as Hudson was working over his ribs that were taped up. That's good.
Yeah, that was
stuff like that can stay. Ivan Dragon has a giant gash on his head,
which has not gone away. That
again, tape show.
In like
tape show. This is the Josh Alexander effect, where Josh had that one shiner from that one pay-per-view, and then for an entire build had the shiner until the pay-per-view was live, and it was suddenly all gone,
all better now. Yeah,
it's one of the downsides of a tape show, I guess. So he's headed back to the UK, and you just know that NXT wants him in the US full time once he drops that UK title in like a year, I think.
Yeah,
it was good. I don't know what was on the back of O'Reilly's trunks, but if you find out, let me know.
Is it the same thing that's always there? He's got like a weird. It looks like a hammer and sickle, but like one's rocketing out some sort of propellant.
It's like Axe and Smash is what it says on the hoodie.
I don't care for any of that. It looks, I don't know. One, that means nothing and looks dumb, but whatever.
Right.
Not my aesthetic.
honestly, it's probably the crowd that's boring.
Hate
more
the
than
crowd.
anything else.
God,
the crowd is
the
awful.
CWC is the weirdest bunch of awful. Like, and like, I don't know that this is like a problem, but it just annoyed me that it was like in the LA Knight Gargano match, everyone's chanting for LA Knight. Then everyone chants for Index. Then everyone chants for Johnny Wrestling. I was just like, this isn't like, shut up. Just everyone shut up and cheer or boo or just don't chant things right now because you're all dorks.
Exactly. Yeah, you know what? I'm over that crowd. I'm very much over that crowd. Like
they're just weird. I can't put my finger on it. I just don't care for them. Like,
let me tell you what I'm not over. I'm not over the new Dr. Evil and Mini-Me team of Grayson Waller and Drake Maverick.
It's just, poor Killian Dane.
He's fine. He's fine.
They had a good thing and they just threw it in the trash because what it is.
So okay, hold on. The venue is just bad. Now this is what they're doing. They're revamping the venue. So get excited for a couple of weeks when the venue isn't this dark, drab, like bingo. Honest to God, I'm sorry.
They're gonna uncage the audience. Don't worry.
They're gonna uncage the audience. Yes, they're gonna unplastic, plastic stanchion the audience. And you know what else they're gonna do? They're gonna brighten it up. It's not gonna look like an indie bingo hall. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I have gone to enough shows. You and I have gone to enough indie shows that this isn't derogatory. Like, we're not being negative, but like, that's a problem. A lot of indie shows, they're happening in like the basement of a church or some sort of just low lit, crappy bingo hall thing. And that's not what NXT wants to be anymore.
Yeah. And like, like there's you can use low light in a good way. And I don't mind the NXT stage, but it's, not being able to see the crowd at all is a bit odd.
But then they use the rope light LEDs. So you see the crowd, but like, you just see them like
they're like
lit.
They're like chests, the torso. That's like,
and that's probably not the part of a crowd you want to see, especially a wrestling crowd.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like they just when we had the Thunderdome, you didn't just put people's cores on.
Why not? LaKnight defeats Johnny Gargano.
Great.
What do you think?
Enjoyed this match. Like, all the in-ring I thought was really, really good. It's just the stories are kind of to me.
So here's what I like. Johnny Gargano obviously has big problems with Index.
Yeah.
He obviously is very put off by Dexter Lumis. That's been forever. One thing I'm really enjoying is
stop being weird, Dexter. Just for once. He's totally justified in that criticism. Just be normal.
I love that the Index does the Dexter entrance with the sliding on all fours. That was cute. And then Gargano's just like disgusted by it. I really enjoyed it.
These weirdos.
Now,
I'm
no
glad
shock.
They didn't just break up. It's good. It's funny.
No shock, distraction finish. And you want to talk about breaking up. So there was the one report that came out this week that they were going to make Johnny Gargano the big heel moving forward. I saw some people trying to dunk on it, and I'm sitting there being like, no, I don't think you see it. In 2 weeks at the wedding, Gargano's going to make it into like the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
He's going to destroy it, and it's not going to be a comedy destruction. He is going to cause mayhem somehow. It could be Odyssey Jones becomes the new Austin Theory, and he ends up destroying everybody, everything. And then Johnny has a new heater while Candace is clearly not going to be on TV for a while because she's pregnant.
Yeah. They got to do, they will need to do something, sadly, because the way is like tremendous. And I think Johnny's like comedy timing is really, really strong. So it's a shame that they're not be able to really use it. But yeah, how else do you get someone into that heel heat? They hate love.
Someone's got to love. That's not for us though.
No.
But what is for us is having you go ahead and like this video. Toss us a thumbs up, leave us a comment if you're watching on YouTube, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, y'all. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about Mei Ying competes next week. No, I'm not going to talk about that.
I don't care. They've ruined that entirely. Like,
it was inevitable. You had to get there. You had to get to the point where Mei Ying was going to get in the ring. We didn't know when, where, how, and she had to compete. So here we go. Gonzalez
make
versus
her like
Kamea.
7 feet tall. That's all.
What's that?
Give her lifts. Make her like 6-7 feet tall. Screw it. Do something weird. She's got to be uncanny, because right now it's just like you keep changing these characters. Nothing. I'm not.
The Mist.
I don't care. Everyone's had the damn mist. I'm sick of the mist.
Kiri's going to be on MLW. That's the mist. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Raquel Gonzalez defeats Jessie Kamea. Kamea has a good little match too, talking about two talent from different points in their careers having a strong match.
Sloppy finish, but yeah, good.
Yeah,
match.
well, you know, that's she loves that. I don't want to mispronounce it, but the power bomb she does.
That's why I said finish, because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't even know how she says it. Like, she's
yeah.
not great at it, sadly, with taller competitors.
Well, that's the other thing too. Kamea is tall, and it's like
just jump with her. What are you doing?
that's on Jessie Kamea. That's on Kamea.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the greenhorn who beefed it. Like, just do a little hop.
We're inching towards Gonzalez and Monet, and I think we'll do it in 2 weeks at the Rebrand show. And if that is the moment that Monet becomes champion, I would love that.
Same. Agreed.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Raquel Gonzalez doing what she's doing now. But if you want to put heat on Frankie Monet, be like, she comes out in like this colorful ensemble, just ridiculous, just like this Rebrand, and they give her the title, people will go absolutely nuts. They'll be like, oh, the new NXT, it's all about the too bright for TV garbage. And I love it.
Too bright for TV. Y'all got sensitive eyes. Go out, see the sun now and again.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Going to indie shows almost every weekend and you don't want to watch one on national cable. I get it.
Who's watching cable? Y'all in the dark ages.
Well, I mean, it's
cord cut. Cut that cord.
Well, anyway. Speaking of cutting, Kaylee Ray cutting a promo, wants Ember Moon next week. Okay, fine. Why not? Yeah. Kaylee Ray versus whomever is, and that's the other thing too. If it's Monet versus Gonzalez, Gonzalez wins, because Kaylee Ray versus Gonzalez, a takeover is the match. That's fine. Because you can't do Kaylee Ray versus Monet. It does not compute. It'll be fun, but it's not the match. Going back, we talked about Roddy Strong versus Ike Manjiro. Diamond Mine expands.
Now they have two potato farmers instead of Tyler Rust. I don't understand what the point of any of that is. Like,
they picked up the Casper brothers. They're now known as the Creed brothers, Brutus
Potato
and Julius.
Boys. They look like they farm potatoes, and one of them clearly got better on the old handsome lottery.
The taller one, right?
The taller
one.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the other one got the same face, but not enough real estate.
Oh, no. First of all, they definitely vanity search, because I made reference to it and they like the tweet. So there's that.
Oh, that's good. Are they good wrestlers?
They're actually amateur guys. They are amateur wrestlers.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so they do have the background. They were the guys who, when they did the face-to-face with Joe and Cross going into TakeOver, they had like the whole lineup of guys, and I told you basically who they all were. Two of those guys were then stationed outside of Regal's office, and they did the Diamond Mine segment where Bivens and the whole Diamond Mine spoke to Regal. Walking out of the office, Roddy goes to speak to the person. Bivens goes and gives both Casper brothers a card. A Diamond Mine card. So they recruited them, and not many people saw that. So there is some like background storytelling going on with Bivens and them. They're new. They just got signed, I think, less than a year ago. Yeah. So there's room for them.
All right.
And then Ike Manjiro takes a giant beating, so that's fine.
Good match. Such a good match. Very fun.
You can't do Strong and Kushida at the re-debut. You can't have every single title on the line for the re-debut. You can't. They have not wrestled on camera yet, the Casper brothers. So there you go. Meanwhile, Io Shirai, who has wrestled matches, hates everybody.
Apparently, yawn. Poor. They're all so talented, just not getting the right stories. It's fine. It'll be a good match. I'm looking forward to them versus whatever Casey and
Caden.
Call
him Casey too.
I don't love Caden wearing the contacts. It's like, it's so weird. Like, it's
because of the bright eyes?
Yeah, she's got like spooky eyes because she's wearing contacts, and it's like, who is your character? Like, they seemed like because Casey Catanzaro is like American Ninja Warrior or whatever, right? That type of shtick. What is Caden? Like, why is she wearing spooky contacts and hanging out with the Ninja Warrior? Like, just have a purpose. Like, be a character is my question. Yeah. Like, they're just buddies. They're just friends, which is fine. But, I don't know. It just seems odd that person's hanging out with someone who just arbitrarily wears spooky contacts every day.
So Casey Squared takes on Io and Stark next week for the women's tag titles. A question in the chat: is Zoe Stark supposed to be a babyface? Character confuses me. Yes. Out of everyone, out of all four, Zoe Stark is the babyface. She's just trying to make friends with her tag partner. Her tag partner doesn't give a shit. They just Io's just like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, but you're my tag partner, so we're gonna win. That's fine. That's the storyline. And again, WWE loves to play this whole not only can they coexist, but like the strange bedfellows tag partners. That's what they do.
Which is fine, just overused. And like, I don't know anything about their competitor. Why does Io hate them? Like,
yes,
like that's the thing. Like,
sense.
Why you've had next to no interactions with them, which is why you have to, like, other than, you know, competing in a sport, which is what that doesn't breed hatred. Like,
either way, they'll have the match. It'll be fun. And
it'll be a fun match. I'm confident it'll be very well put together.
If Casey Squared somehow wins, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, me too. I don't know that they're there yet. Again, they don't have established characters.
Yes. Cameron Grimes needs a tag partner. And he drops
going to be
drops $1 million. Yes. Who can he get? Who can he have? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to rack my brain. So he's going to take on Zach Gibson and what's his face?
I mean, Odyssey Jones would be funny, right?
Odyssey Jones.
He just comes out with this big son of a bitch to fight, and they're not expecting that. Like,
so Grizzled Young Vets versus Cameron Grimes and who knows who.
Yeah.
Ted DiBiase comes back and he gets Virgil. Oh no, I don't want to do Grimes and Odyssey Jones because then they'll just take him back to Virgil.
Exactly what it is. Yeah.
What about Grimes and oh my god, Ikman Jiro? And he gets a $1 million jacket. There's no one here that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be Jeff Hardy. There you go. Because they're both from North Carolina. All right. Champa versus Ridge Holland. Again, the veteran versus the newer guy. And it worked. It was a good match.
Really great finish by contrast to Raquel and Kamea. But yeah.
They have high expectations for Ridge Holland, eh?
They seem to, which again, that big man with that tiny little club just looks so dumb to me.
When they I can't do anything close to it. When they like do the transition, they have him like with
they do the Bronson Reed thing, as someone pointed out, I think on either Twitter or Discord, but like,
so that was a spoon for anyone watching us live. I was trying to get the closest thing I could, and it was a spoon.
This is why you got to watch us live, or you're missing out on the visual gags.
It's true, you got to watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's holding the club now. I've got a Sharpie, so he's holding and it's always just an awkward, like, because it's his arms up here and his head it's an awkward framing. I don't know what they're doing. And he's got the jaunty little hat that I don't have.
Which is like, and that's the thing. Like, his character is being British, which is not a character, although they keep trying to make it a character. Like,
either way, it'll turn into a 6-man tag because out come MSK and Champa versus Holland, Lorcan, and Birch. Everything becomes a 6-man tag. That's what NXT does.
And like, that stable is so weird. It's just, we're British and also Oni Lorcan. Like,
who, by the way, has an accent so thick he may as well be from another country.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's not the UK though.
What's not in my notes before we get to the Dynamite preview was actually the Carmelo Hayes segment in the back, where all of a sudden Elektra Lopez comes out and does the whole. First of all, Elektra Lopez joining Legado. I love it. Stuff. I'm a big fan. We talked about it last week. It's so much better than having someone like Selena De La Renta. I'm much happier with this. So that's cool. The other thing is I like that there is another mouthpiece for Legado and that it's a woman, because you had BFAB and the whole the stuff with Hit Row, who were not on the show this week.
Not at all, which was okay. Yeah.
Fine by me. You tell a different story. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can overexpose them. So instead they had Legado come out in the backstage area and talk to Hayes and be like, hey, everyone wants that North American Championship. I like that they're trying to play up. What is Hayes going to do? It's not like Money in the Bank, but he does eventually have to make his decision. And that's the conversation. What will he do? What championship will he go after? I like
yeah, I mean, I don't like the what championship will he go after? Like, why wouldn't you go after Joe? I guess because you don't think you'd win.
Well, because you can easily say, I'm so new, I want to
Yeah.
assert my dominance, for this title instead, or say, I want the 5-star ladder match championship. I want that one, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's a way you can get around it. I hear you. And a lot of people make that same argument. I
It's
hear
just
you.
funny. Like, it's just, I don't know. That's the struggle with these championships and these contract things, right? Like they hint at it, but it's like, I don't know. Has anyone ever done anyway? Wait, in the past, they've done one of these breakout tournaments or more than one?
One.
Who won it?
Jordan Miles, the former ACH.
Okay.
ACH, ACH
what,
won. He had a match against
championship?
Adam Cole for the NXT title, but they also branded it
And
as
he lost,
the winner,
though, right?
Yes.
There's your angle. There, just be like, look, I've seen how this played out last time. Like, I want to start at my level.
That's fair. And again, they're doing the Cruiserweight Championship because he had the match against Kushida. He had a good showing. Does he want to go after it again? Blah blah blah. It is weird, but there is a way to tell it, and I think you definitely just nailed it on the head. That's a good way to tell it. Look at the last guy, but also, unfortunately, look at the last guy. You can't really bring it up.
Yeah.
So anyway,
well,
what we can bring up is Dynamite because we got a preview for Dynamite. It's episode 100 this week.
These matches will actually happen.
We'll see about that.
Yeah,
All out Sunday, we will give our predictions on the Sunday show. If you want to give your predictions now, go over to our Discord channel. It's a free join for now. We never know what we'll do down the line. There's a link to the video in the video
early
to join us. Join us in the Discord. CM Punk will be live because, of course, he will. They're going to milk
this being live.
They're going to milk it for all.
See him wrestle. At least finally, we'll get him in the ring this weekend, and then we can see him in the ring a little bit more, hopefully.
They've announced, AEW's announced that the ice cream bars are going to be available at concessions all weekend at the Chicagoland.
Wow,
events.
super don't care.
Yes.
Next thing.
First of all, I do want to bring up this thing. AEW socials are posting and reposting and reposting and reposting all the Punk stuff to all of their socials. I need someone to understand that that's not a good strategy. Please. Stop doing this. It's killing me. It's killing a lot of stuff. Instead, maybe we'll do I don't know. Just let Punk come out and speak. Let him build a match. I don't need to re-see all this stuff. The debut was cool. I don't need you to post it and repost it and repost it and keep adding layers to what you're reposting.
No,
just
the backstage or the day after was great. I'm good. Now we can just treat it as normal.
Orange Cassidy takes on Jack Evans from Hardy Family Office.
I will say I enjoyed the Matt Hardy Orange Cassidy match a lot more than I expected. I did. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
OC continues to dismantle the HFO one by one.
Good.
By one.
Pick them apart. Lazy OC.
Done with this. FTR takes on Santana and Ortiz. I'm happy that Cash Wheeler is okay. They had a legit injury scare. Yeah. The nerve firing stuff they talked about on Dynamite, that was real. That was a thing that happened. Terrifying. So there you go. We'll do it again tonight, and I feel like they'll run it back one last time at Arthur Ashe, maybe as a number one contendership style match. Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Brian Cage, Powerhouse Hobbs.
Go big.
Can we move along from the FTW world stuff?
Yeah. After
just
this,
just like Malachi Black has joined the Codyverse.
Yeah, he's not leaving.
By the way, I'm going to say it until my final breath. The Codyverse. Malachi Black joined it. Cody did not leave it.
Maybe Arn Anderson's getting back in the ring.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, there we go. Instead of the Cody match, Arn Anderson's going to defend his son's honor by taking a swift kick to the skull.
You know who really needs to take on Malachi Black?
A lot of
people. Hook.
No.
I want Hook, baby. I want you with your Dragon Sleeper. Hook.
We don't even. Is that what he does?
He does.
Have we seen him wrestle?
No.
Did he do a wrestle? No. Yeah.
No, but he's been on Dark and he hit that Dragon Sleeper. It looks so good. That's what I want. I want Hook. All of Hook hitting that Dragon Sleeper, just taking out Brian Cage. Brian Cage who has no neck. I don't care. Hook, you can do this. Take out Malachi Black and then take out Brian Cage. Anyway. JR is going to interview Chris Jericho.
Yeah, man. Go away. Just go away, Chris Jericho. Retire.
3 weeks of career on the line stipulation matches in 3 weeks. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns said he'd leave WWE if he lost the title. Trevor Murdoch versus Nick Aldis.
Yep.
Trevor Murdoch said, I'll leave the NWA if I lose the title. AEW, Chris Jericho versus MJF. Chris Jericho will stop wrestling in AEW, blah, blah, blah.
He'll go right to the commentary table where we all really want him to go.
My joke. So they announced today that Arthur Ashe, you need to provide proof of vaccination at the Arthur Ashe show because New York State now, or not New York State, New York City now has a proof of vaccination to enter any event. Jericho was probably like, maybe let's have Max win on Sunday and I'll take a few weeks off. No, that's fine. Like I'll come back, I don't know, first week of October, maybe. How does that sound? JR interviews Jericho. Give me
Is JR off commentary now? Did I see that?
There is talk of JR transitioning away from commentary. JR has refuted this, but a few good sources have said that he's moving on, or at least he's not moving away from commentary, but that they'll kind of start moving him into different roles or less of commentary booth time.
Yeah, I think they should, because Wednesday was rough again. He said, what was the word? It wasn't a word. He just said something that was like pure on gibberish. But
I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah, it's tough. But he has so much to teach people. Like, I think, I think him in the backstage role would be better.
Listen, if it's between JR and Jericho joining the commentary team, leave JR, because here's the difference. I won't get yelled at for an hour.
It was so awful. Rampage was made very difficult for me to listen to him. Then there was at one point, the commentary straight up died in the main event. And it was just Jericho screaming from a distance. Like,
it's awful. I can't deal with that. And then Jericho trolling us all, being like, I know I can't yell, but I'm going to yell anyway. And I'm like, great. I'm going to turn off the sound now.
The whole time.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that was a while ago. He said WWE Dynamite. There have been JR said a lot.
That's one of many. Like there's been a bunch. He's having a tough time.
Moving on, the Elite taking on Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express. The Elite, of course, being the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers. Lucha Bros versus the Bucks at All Out in the Steel Cage. Looking forward to that. And Jurassic Express and the Good Brothers for the Impact Tag titles sometime, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Let's do it.
I would do it.
Consolation prize.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine with me. They've put the Impact Tag titles on the line on a Dynamite before. I'm not saying do this all out at All Out. Do not do that match at All Out. There are enough matches at All Out. Do it on Impact. Well, the tapings next are mid-September. So, or do it at Bound for Glory in Vegas. Yeah. By the way, maybe I'll go back to Vegas for Bound for Glory in October. That's what I need. Another trip to Vegas. More PCR tests, more delayed flights. Ty Conchi takes on Penelope Ford. So last week, the Bunny joined forces with Penelope Ford on Rampage, and it seems like there's a tag team division quietly growing in AEW's women's division.
You think? I'll be down with that. That'd be good.
Penelope Ford and the Bunny. Red Velvet and Kylan King almost won the NWA women's tag titles at Empower. Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. Emi Sakura and Lulu Pencil, though that's kind of new. Julia Hart and Big Swole. The Inspirations are talking about going on a little bit of a tour. Maybe they can make a stop in AEW. Maybe. And Anna Jay might be coming back soon, and Ty Conchi will need a partner.
Yeah. Wait. Who are the WWE Women's Tag Champions?
Natty and Tamina.
Yes. Okay. Natty's out. Got it. I was like, wait,
she's forgotten. No, she's back.
She's back.
They had the Contenders match on SmackDown a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. And Nyla Rose and Diamante is another team. That's right. They just faced off against Julia Hart and Big Swole. So
I like that. I'm here for that. It'd be good.
They did the women's tag team cup a year ago, and it worked out well. I think that they can do something like that again, but maybe bring back title. I don't know if they want to do women's tag titles, but I definitely think that they should do another women's tag something. I think that would be.
They're doing the same. I think they're just building it slow. They're doing the same thing with trios, right? Like you've got quite a few trios now that make sense. So,
and they're keeping more track of trios matches and records and trying to build out that division. So it seems like, so there seems to be a plan A, B, C, D of building out your divisions.
Yep.
Like you had the singles, you had the singles, women's, men's, tag men's, so on and so forth. So there's some good stuff going on. Sheeta and Statlander is another one that I'm seeing in the chat. So there's some build out. We'll see where it goes, but it looks like Conchi and Ford will be a good match tonight. I'm looking forward to it because Ford has had some really good showings lately.
Really.
And everyone likes Tai Conchi, so nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
That's all I got. Oh, and then Daniel Bryan at All Out. That's the rumor now.
Yeah, you just got to wait a little bit, be a little bit more patient, right?
Talking about CM Punk going a little bit ham on the on the spoilers there.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Very fine with it. I listen, if it's Daniel Bryan making his debut, Bay on September 5th, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
just want to say
it was an interview, sure.
Brandon Cutler, MVP of Rampage on Friday.
He's very good.
It was like when they were like little baby bitch boy. And like whatever, that line is like a dime a dozen in wrestling. But in the very background, you see Brandon Cutler just be like,
He's become the MVP of this of that faction.
Love it. Love him. Great stuff.
I actually want to watch BTE for those backstage or on the stage segments that they film from Dynamite. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, we'll be back on Sunday. We're going to do our all out predictions. We'll talk about Smackdown. We'll talk about Rampage. We'll talk about whatever else is going on between now and then. Until then, we've got Dynamite tonight. That's going to be fun. Don't forget, toss a like on the video, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Catch us every single Wednesday and Sunday at noon Eastern. Sometimes we flub and we don't do a noon Eastern Sunday show because we're in transit, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, so someone's asking, supposedly Daniel Bryan and Ric Flair, do either one of you guys think Adam Cole might show up? I don't think so.
I don't give a shit about Ric Flair.
He had a good interview with Renee Paquette. It's fine. Appreciate all of y'all for hanging out with us. Tim, where can the kids find you on the internet?
Tim Stone P, TIMBSTONEP on Twitter. Do it.
Show is Tim and Joel Pod. You can find us timandjoelpod.com or at Tim and Joel Pod on all your social media platforms. Share us around. Let us know that you're listening to us. Let your friends know that you want them to listen to us. Come and grow this little thing with us, would you? Because we have a Discord. We'd love to have you there. The link is in the video description, and it's free to join, at least for now. I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. I will see you all soon, and we'll be back on Sunday for another episode. Cheers.